All right, this is Randalicious, and welcome to the 78th Hexis podcast. In this podcast, we'll be discussing the Gleesac Gazette for April, including updates to the high scores, RuneFest being canceled, future achievement diaries, the 1v1 PvP tournament that they had last weekend, and more. So this podcast and all future podcasts are available on all of the normal YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and so on. If you guys are watching this video on YouTube, all the links, the link for this document and for all the other links will be in the video description. We opened up our Discord to the public. That link will also be in there, and put it in the chat as well. But let's get to it. Randalicious, and I'm the leader of Hexis.
I'm Dan Gleesac, and I'm a general in Hexis.
Come on, Abra.
Wait, what about Arp? Oh, hi, I'm Abra. People are being skipped.
Nuh-uh, you're third in the order of introductions.
Am I on the wrong dock? There's no way. No way.
Dude. Jeez.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're...
I'm
let
on
me
the right one.
Well, then you see you're after Dan then, right?
After Arp.
No! You got the...
What the fuck?
All right.
Holy shit.
Continue. I'm looking in the questions, that's why.
Oh my god.
That might be 78 podcasts, and that might be a first.
He's been on the most too, I feel.
No, you're right.
All right, Arp.
Continue.
Arp, salvage it. Arp, salvage the introductions for us.
I am Arptastic. I'm the leader of Totus. I'm a sergeant in Hexis, and I'm a soul rune aficionado.
Hey guys, JFry here, and I just finished up some ramen noodles.
And I am Sebe Bay, aka Sebe, same thing, but I'm a Clue Andy. I love clues.
Hey, baby.
Hey, well, Clues, you mind telling, so it's your first time on the podcast, care to give the people a little bit more information about yourself?
Yeah,
Tell us about your
so
RuneScape experience.
maxed Iron Man, maxed just last December. Basically kind of a completionist in a way. I go for things I'm really motivated for. So right now my overarching goal is just to complete the POH treasure trail chests as an Iron Man. And right now I'm going for rank 1 elites, and that's just a byproduct of trying to complete it. So, and yeah, I stream as well. So I think those shout outs are later though. So yeah, that's pretty much a little introduction to me.
How many clues have you done?
I think 5,600 overall, and I'm nearing 800 elites.
Big.
What rank is that?
Rank 3 right now for irons, and I'm like a week away from getting rank 1 as long as rank 1 doesn't go hard.
Big. All right, well, good stuff. Thanks for being on, guest here. So move into our first topic, and that's the Gleesac Gazette, April 2020. So one of the things that they highlighted on here was the high scores, to where the load time of the high score system has been drastically improved. To do this, they had to increase the minimum requirements to get onto a boss high score table. And I've noticed that on my page. There's a lot that have been, like things that have like 1 kill or 2 kills have been removed. But have you guys noticed an increase in the quality of the high scores with this change that they've made?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to say like months leading up to the beginning of April, so like February, March, it was like almost days or even weeks at some point we're able to get like even update their high scores. And since the requirement has been the minimum requirement has been raised to actually get on the boss fighters, I'd say it's been definitely improved. There's still a couple hitches every once in a while with like go through a day or so where stuff doesn't want to load, but I mean there's definitely been drastic improvement, I think.
Yeah, I've also noticed that like when I've been trying to, like, my high scores page have been updating as well, whereas before you could go several days in a row without having your high scores get updated. So I've noticed increase in quality with that, which has been good.
Yeah, same here. I kind of got used to expecting the high scores not to update, sadly. So I guess it's a nice feeling now that it's back. It's almost like we got something new, when in reality we just got something that is actually working. It still has sometimes where it's not updating, but overall it's gotten a lot better than what it used to.
It'll be interesting to see what people do about like fake records, because there were quite a few fake records that came up. I think like the one I remember,
Call them
Diglett
out.
got rank 1 mining day
Wow.
after not being updated like 3 times on logout. So I don't know if like things like that will. I mean, it's going to be so difficult to tell which ones were fake though. So I don't know if that will really ever be fixed now. Like the damage has been done. But yeah, I mean, for me too, it's mostly fixed. There is the odd occasion it won't load, but more often than not, it does. I think. I mean, like this is a little bit of a personal rant, but because I use because I lead TOTUS and I've got the TOTUS spreadsheet, some of the high scores are automatically imported, especially boss high scores. And now that they've added minimum thresholds, it's kind of messed up a few things for me. Like we can't tell who's killed Zuck one time because there's like a minimum of 2 for some reason. Whereas I think 1 would be low enough for that, but I don't know if there are any intentions to tweak the minimum thresholds for boss high scores.
Yeah, it's nice and that it's actually working generally, but not that it's really as relevant for me now. But generally, I update it as often as I can, so it's nice to actually work. But it'd be so nice if this wasn't actually kind of required to make it work as it was before. The whole boss high scores being implemented is what ruined it in the first place, but at least it's working better. But hopefully they can fix it in the future so that they can revert this minimum requirement. And I'm sure some records could certainly be found out which ones are for sure fake and whatnot and be manually removed from those sites. But yeah, unfortunate about your TOTUS sheet.
Feels bad, man.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, like they were pretty bad, but I think like they've improved, but like they're still on the occasion, like Arp said, it still just doesn't load. Luckily I'm an Iron Man, and so any Iron Man loads instantly. Like I
Really?
don't know what it is. It's the main high scores that
Privilege.
just don't work. And if you try to load an Iron Man on main high scores, it doesn't work either. But irons are completely clean.
Does that
Yeah,
also
the
does that also
mains.
work with like trying to update yourself, like on Temple or Crystal Math Labs? Like that works
I'm
fine.
not sure about that. I haven't
I would
updated
assume
myself in
so
like
because it
3
just
months.
pulls from the high scores.
Mm.
That's
And if it
interesting. I didn't know.
actually loads the request, it should update.
I
But
wonder
I
if
am
that's
sad.
because there's a lot less Iron Men than there are like main accounts.
Yeah, that has to be it.
That and also just it's a subset, yeah.
But also the minimum boss requirement is kind of annoying. I used to have a KC on every boss. Now it looks like I'm skimping.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Maybe you are skimping.
Apparently I am.
I know Tyron was saying something about the reason it doesn't work is because the infrastructure they use for their high scores is so outdated, and it just wasn't designed to display that many different high scores. Why they couldn't test that before actually putting the boss high scores in, I don't know. But yeah, like Abra said, hopefully they find a way to update that in the future. But with the web team so stretched, I can't imagine that happening anytime soon.
Let them know.
Do you know how many people are on the web team by chance?
No, but it's a very small team and it's shared between old school and RS3. They've got a massive backlog of things they have to do, so it takes ages to get anything done.
You'd think they'd maybe expand it. Like our team is growing. Maybe they could invest more into the web team that is getting all these requests that they can't fulfill.
Like they could just use an intern and they could handle it pretty quickly, I'd imagine.
Yeah, also in terms of like the actual language that you would be using, I'm sure it's more of a common language rather than an in-house language.
Yeah.
So
Where
they wouldn't even have to teach them. They would just have to say, "I want this. Can you do this?" Yes.
or even like I don't know what the difficulties of
Not that
kind
I'm
of
saying it's easy because I'm not that knowledgeable, but
I mean, I wonder like how complicated it would be to be able to just kind of completely overhaul it, like start new.
Yeah.
Because
Like Ash overhauled the bank entirely when he was doing bank tabs, and he's done that for other things like construction. Although again, these are different specialties, but
yeah, different teams as well. But
I'm sure it would not be a poor investment to redo
yeah, it would. It
I
would
don't think anyone would complain.
at this
though.
rate.
Yeah. No one's gonna. And now's a good time as well with kind of the downtime that they have. Be a good opportunity for them to take care of that. But all right. So they announced that RuneFest for 2020 has been canceled. Kind of with that, have you guys ever gone RuneFest? Would you ever like to go? Were you planning on going? What do you think about them already canceling RuneFest? Based on when they have it, it would have been approximately like 5 months from now.
Yeah, because of all the planning that goes into it, I can understand this. Like, you would think maybe if things get better, they could kind of pull it back in. But again, like dealing with contracts, the business end, and everything else, I understand. But I haven't been. I haven't left the country. It's only been in England, so that makes sense. I would love to at some point, but again, unless I'm meeting up with a lot of people over there, I don't know if it'd be that worth it. But if it was ever over here in the States, like they've talked about it a little bit, then I could definitely justify it a heck of a lot more. Like if they did it in like somewhere in the Northeast or something.
It'd be on the
Like
East
around
Coast,
Boston.
certainly, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think it'd be somewhere around Boston. They said one time.
Well,
Awesome, gang.
I saw that since they're not having it this year, I thought I saw a tweet that Ash was engaging in where they were discussing like since the budget for that is kind of gone
Already.
that they could like what if they just use that next year for a United States one.
That'd be nice.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're still going to do something, obviously, like do it remotely, like how they do the Q&As right now. Well, kind of, whatever you want to call them, modcast. I'm sure they'll
God
still
bless
do something.
Sween wearing the Vikings hat on the last one.
Oh, I haven't been keeping up with them.
I've never gone to RuneFest. I think it would be fun to go, but I don't see myself going. I'm surprised that they've already canceled it. I mean, I know that there's a lot of planning that goes into it, but I feel like with it still being like more than 5 months out, that's pretty, that's a pretty aggressive cancellation to it. But I do understand that they did cancel. They were going to have us, and I was invited to go to London, or I guess Cambridge, for like to discuss the clan system stuff, which would have been taking place a couple days ago. So, wish I was there and not here. But yeah, with that though, we ended up, kind of pushed back as like all content is, I'd imagine now. But I'd like to go someday, but I don't really see a chance that I'll ever make the trip. Especially since, this like me, it would have been like last week that I would have gone. I know not RuneFest, but like to the headquarters. That was the most realistic opportunity that I believe I ever would have had, and seems like that's gone. Too bad.
I've never gone to RuneFest. Well, I would love to go. Obviously, it's expensive to just go there if you're American, but I guess maybe 1 year I'll go. If it's in the United States, I think that would be a more like viable option for me. So that'd be kind of cool if they did that next year. But yeah, I would love to go one year.
I've never gone, nor do I ever plan to go or want to go. I guess the reason behind that is it's weird to say because I have like over 10,000 EHP in this game. By the way, I just got that like a couple days ago.
Congrats.
Thank you. But I guess I'm not that invested in RuneScape. It sounds weird to say, but I'd much rather like.
Hold on. Say that again. What was that?
I, Dan Gleesac, am not that invested in old school RuneScape.
2020.
it just as soon as I find a way to do the certain skill, I just kind of stick with that method, and that's about it. I'm not really too keen on upgrading certain skills or certain things in the game. I don't know.
So
I
it's kind of just habits.
Yeah,
rather
once I
than
learn it, I
focusing on
just
the game.
do it over and over again.
Yeah.
I have been twice. I went last year and the year before. Am I the only UK person on the
Think so.
podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it kind of makes sense that maybe I was the only one who's gone then. But yeah, I've been twice. I am upset that it got cancelled, but obviously understand why. If the next one next year is going to be accessible for me, I will go to it. I plan to go pretty much just to all of them from now on. I think that I did see Modash say, I know someone mentioned it, but now that they've got budget for both, that their plan is just to have something bigger and better than what they would normally have. I don't know if their intention is to actually spend 2 lots of budget on the same Rune Fest. I don't know how that would work, literally doubling it, but
Bring it
it'd
to
be interesting
America.
to see what they do.
Or they could just bring more people on the team with that money. We'll see.
Maybe. I
Or
mean,
fix
the
the
thing
high
is, if it
score
was in
with the
America,
budget.
I wouldn't go. But if there is going to be one in England again, I will go to that. And I know, Dan, you were saying like, you're not that invested in OSRS, but I think for a lot of people, going to RuneFest isn't really about the game. It's about meeting people who you game with. And I know that was true for a lot of people I went there. Like for example, a lot of people didn't know what was even going on at RuneFest, even though an itinerary was sent out. Hardly anyone even read it. They just knew when they were going to be meeting up with people and sort of the bigger events that they wanted to go to. So I think that's for me. It was about meeting people. Got to meet Hey Jace, Boaty, a lot of people from Totus and other
Larry.
people who I'd spoken to. A lot of people in the 10 hit point community I got to meet as well. That was really cool. And some of the JMods, of course.
Just like the meetup that we had in the States last spring. Well, I mean, it was only like 5 of us, but
What was that for? Or was that just
just the meetup. It was up Pennsylvania, just right below New York. It was me, Caleb, Avatar Evan, Matt.
Oh, I remember seeing those pictures.
Yeah, I saw the video. I saw the video you posted.
I remember someone captioned one as like when you have your first beer. That's funny.
I know a bunch of people for the RuneFest, last year at least, didn't even pay to go to the RuneFest. They just went to the location it was being held at so that they could
They
meet
didn't
a
actually
bunch of
go
people.
in.
Well, they
Yeah.
they tailgate outside like it was a football game or something.
No, they just like stayed around bars and stuff, and I don't know what they did for most of the day, but I don't know. RuneFest is just a nice neutral place you can go and meet people if you're scared to meet people for the first time or something.
Yeah, get on Tinder and tell them to go to RuneFest.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
A nice neutral place.
Yeah, I've never been to RuneFest. Always thought it was kind of a cool idea. I have met up with RuneScape friends from Fortis back last year, and I have a couple friends from across the pond. So I thought like it'd be a cool spot to meet up. Like, oh, let's go to RuneFest. And even like Arp was saying, it's not so much about actually the event itself, but experience of just being there with people that I've talked to online for the past 5 years and finally getting to like meet in person. As far as them canceling, I mean, like this is their big thing of the year, so I'm sure it was a very difficult decision, but it's probably better to err on the side of caution, at least for the time being. Hopefully, I think as Abra was saying, something can figure it out if everything starts to move in a more positive direction. Can figure something out for this year, but I mean, not RuneFest US 2021 maybe.
Make it
Are you
happen.
going to RuneFest all on your own? With my boys.
I'd go to RuneFest if it was like in America, like regardless of where it is. I'd go.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what is the most expensive like within the state still ticket? Like isn't it only like a couple hundred at most?
Let's see. What would a trip flight from Be
I
from
mean, a lot of
Chicago
people thought the
to
ticket price for
Yeah, it would
Los
most likely be
Angeles.
was
West Coast.
expensive.
Yeah, midway to LAX probably.
Oh well, I guess right now is a terrible fucking time to look because
Oh yeah, it's not great.
you can go with Spirit flights starting at $35.
Yeah, you can push the plane for takeoff too.
Oh, dude, at a certain point, they'd have to pay you to go on that flight.
Just like oil.
Take
All
our
right.
oil, please.
God bless.
All right, let's move on. So the Maz started construction away in which they for a PVM achievement diary, something they're looking at doing, and with that, they're looking at ways that people can complete the tasks and challenge themselves. So kind of to build onto that, but in a skilling way, what would be some things that you would put on a skilling achievement diary, or that you would suggest, and would you want to see like a skilling one potentially?
Maybe I should erase my name from this one, but I'm not the most creative mind in terms of coming up with updates. Like I was saying, I just pick a skill and get 200 mil in it. So I would assume on the achievement diary for skilling, simply a 200 mil would be one of the achievements that I would put on there if there was a skilling achievement diary. And then I guess maybe like base whatever 25 mil or base 50 mil if we're going for.
So you think it should be like XP, like total base?
Well, you wouldn't be able to track like EHP or something like that? I don't know how the whole engineering aspect works of what Jagex can like really see if they're like you've done 20
They can do
hours
math.
of like 20 hours of skilling in Zaya, like 2-tick fishing or some shit like that. Like I don't know if you could do it location based.
All right, so based on that, you could put a variable onto activities, and it would be like craft 10,000 blood runes or something, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know, something location based. I don't know specifically how it would work. And then like base 20 mil or something like that. Those would be, I guess, my ideas. I'm indifferent to seeing. I probably wouldn't vote yes or no to it. I mean, if there was one, I might complete it if it was like efficient or beneficial for my account, but I'm kind of indifferent on introducing a skilling achievement diary.
I have no idea what they'd put on it. Like, I could obviously think of ideas for PVM. Those are, I don't know how to describe, but yeah, skilling. Well, first of all, we already have normal achievement diaries, which have a lot of skilling requirements on them. So it seems almost a little redundant. I certainly wouldn't go with like that far of XP stuff, like 200 mils or anything. Like, if anything, like if it's being a tiered system, elite would include maxing, but I would not include any post-max things. Yeah, this is a little harder to think of besides just adding counters and doing like craft 10,000 blood runes or something like that. It's not really, I don't know, it's just time-based. It's not really any sort of skill as much as PVM stuff was, like doing stuff under a specific time or without using this prayer or without taking damage. It's a toughie, but theoretically, if there was a good list that I approved of, then I would say sure, do it.
Yeah, so they should be able to track hourly rates. Yeah, good point there in the chat. Because yeah, when we had the last skilling cup that we had, they were able to track like XP. So I think that that could be something that could potentially be looked at as well. Similar. So like on the PVM side, they have like do a Inferno run in less than a certain amount of time. They could have the same for skilling stuff, and then like as Java was saying in the chat there, like perfect laps at agility courses. I mean,
certainly ones that already have timers like Priv.
Yeah, well, yeah, and there are some things where like you're not gonna have a whole lot of like tasks. I feel like so something like that, even if it may seem silly, is something good to have added in potentially. I don't think that they'll ever do it, and I don't think that they should.
I would agree with that. I don't think there's any need to add a skilling achievement diary, but then I'm kind of against adding a PVM achievement diary too. I kind of think the existing achievement diaries are fine as they are. It kind of goes against the idea of an achievement diary where you're meant to explore a certain area, learn all the things there are to do in there, because kind of like what Dan was saying, he would only do it if it was efficient or made sense for his account. None of the achievement diaries are really efficient. They're just about making you go to different places, looking at different things within that region. With the PVM achievement diary, some of the things they're looking to add, the one that stood out to me was the time for getting an infernal cape, which is obviously quite a prestigious thing, and I can't think of how you would get something that prestigious across to a skilling diary. I know you could say 200 mil, but that's more about longevity rather than skill, unless you specified which one it was, I guess. But no, I don't really see a need for it.
Yeah, I'm personally not a big fan of them even coming out with a PVM achievement diary, because again, it kind of pushes limit. Like, where do you set the limits? And like, I don't know. I feel like and I've seen players get really frustrated that they can't get an Infernal Cape. And then to have a diary that says, now do the Inferno in 60 minutes, like how, I don't know. Just
well, then they don't need to do it.
I mean, there is no need to do it, but as soon as there's any form of cosmetic or anything, that
well, maybe that'll give them incentive to practice it and learn.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of confused why you would really be against it. I'm trying to formulate the reason, but
yeah,
it's for me. It's
only...
more so about like it. It's literally what it is, an achievement diary, just like keeping track of achievements. Like if you can do it, if it can be achieved, I don't see a problem with tracking that. Now, obviously, the potential problem is with what the rewards are. Like if it makes content easier, then I could understand it. But which that begs the question, like what would they actually put as a reward for this, for skilling or for PVM stuff? But like if it was just 6 lamps, then I have no problem.
They're just achievements for the sake of adding achievements, though, especially on a PVM diary. I mean, they're all arbitrary. Who decides 70 minutes?
Well, so is doing this specific activity for normal achievement diaries.
Yeah, but
although you could say the base of normal achievement diaries is kind of just quest based, and I guess some stuff, skilling. That's part of their function, is to give you incentive to do quests and skill. So I guess that would kind of be like this. It would give you incentive to actually finally go explore this PVM content, practice it and whatnot. And then for skilling, a parallel.
I think there are great ideas for skilling, like a skilling achievement diary. Like I said, I guess when I meant against it, I just meant there's so many arbitrary restrictions that like who's the one coming up with it and what's too difficult.
That's a fine point. Although they're definitely going to crowdsource that stuff, just like if they ever do a I can't think of what it's called. Basically, what the collection log is, completion escape. There you go.
Shout out Jabram for shouting out Skullball. Yeah, that shit should be 100K an hour, I think, agility.
But yeah, no. So like in terms of motivation to try new things, that makes me think of like, why would a casual not just stay at Motherlode Mine for this long time and be chill? Like this would give them a reason, like, oh, Quarry is really good, but I'm too lazy to have thought of doing it before. But now, if I can get something else from doing a diary that requires it, maybe that would be worth my time.
I think they should come out with a clue achievement diary. See how fast you can complete a clue. And then get cut by RNG. Go to Dragon's Eye.
Disagree.
Yeah, fastest Dragon's Eye step.
And plus, in terms of something like that, they already have clue milestones, so I don't think that would make sense.
All right, one of the other things that have been going on is the settings and option menu overhaul. It's just a concept right now, but they're looking at changing it, do you like the new concept, or would you prefer it to stay the way that it is? Link it in the chat right here as well. What do you guys think? I'm unsure if it's toggleable to be to move to the new one or stay as it is. I don't know.
Yeah, something that pops out and completely takes away from you being able to play the game. I'm not a big fan of that. Looks like that just covers the entire screen.
Yeah, it's a rectangle. It wouldn't fit in the current interface.
So, and it looks like it has all the same toggles. Now, if it's got just plenty of more toggles, then I can see them doing that. But that right there, it's in the chat. Yeah, that does not look good. I would not like that. I'd prefer it to stay the same.
For the sake of modernizing the game, I think it makes sense to add that sort of thing in. That's the sort of interface a new user would expect to see. But from a purely selfish point of view, I wouldn't want it updated, but that's purely because I know where everything is and I already know how to get my settings exactly the way I personally like it, but I can see why they want to do it. And I probably wouldn't, if it came to a poll, I probably wouldn't vote no. I'd probably just skip it. But to see what people want in general, there's also, you have to think about things where you need not to be popping out, like lava runes. Solo lava runes and things like that. So that's something they need to consider. If it is a toggle, then I suppose it doesn't matter. But a toggle for options, which would most likely also be in options,
Toggle for a toggle menu.
Yeah, it's where do you draw the
Big
line?
brain.
Toggle skip.
I'm very on the fence about that.
Yeah, again, if this was optional, that'd be fine. There's some stuff that I like about it, but some stuff I don't. Obviously, the big thing is the fact that it's rectangle. I would assume it would expand into the proper game window rather than your inventory. So that's a big no-no. Another thing I don't like is I don't. So like it has the different headers like display, audio, chat, but I don't see advanced options because there's more stuff in there. But something that I do like about it is it has more granularity for the light settings. Like it's not just 4 or 5. Yeah, we currently have 4 different options for brightness, and I assume it'd be the same for sounds as well. So those are good. And then I guess another good thing is the search bar. That's good. If they could just put a search bar in our current one, then I would say don't even bother. It's good. I could see how a new player might potentially I feel like it's more of an aesthetic thing than a functional thing because I don't necessarily see this being more functional. Again, it just interrupts gameplay if it does expand. I'm leaning more towards no, unless it's optional, then I wouldn't care. That is all.
All right, Dan.
You guys brought up a good point, I guess, about being toggleable option on the options thing, which would just kind of not make sense.
That's just a funny thought.
Yeah, it's just the only way that, again, I guess I go back to I like my things looking how they have been since I started playing. Like when YouTube or Twitch updates, I feel completely lost for like the first 2 to 3 weeks trying to learn this whole thing, even though it's not obviously that complicated. It's just a settings menu on RuneScape. But I would much rather just keep things how they are. I mean, it's nice in the sense that you could search up, I guess, keywords is the whole search bar. So it, I guess, helps some new people out that don't know where exactly things are yet. But I'm hoping this doesn't really pass. And if it does, I have the option to keep things how I like it.
Yeah, so going back to, I think, what Arp said, I think it's an attempt to somewhat modernize what may be thought of as an outdated interface. I think how they have the display audio chat and controls actually written. I think that definitely is more helpful to new players. Whereas, I mean, pictures where if you hover over it actually pops up under it with a word. I mean, it's not exactly hard, but newer players may see that and not get it or something. Like we touched on, the search bar is nice, a nice addition, but at the same time, that Abra was saying, like, where did advanced options go? Are you able to search through those through the search bar, or if it was as long as it was some sort of toggleable option, I probably would skip the vote. But if it was a forced thing, I would agree with most of the majority here, I think, and vote no.
I have one more thought on this though. I feel like if this was a thing and to be forced, I could understand it more for mobile. For desktop, I would definitely not prefer
True.
it, but I wouldn't have as much of an issue with it within mobile.
You change your settings on mobile?
No, I mean, I don't even play mobile. I'm just saying that I see that this wouldn't be as bad since you're already kind of strapped with real estate. Well, depending what you're on. Like my phone is small, so the current interface wouldn't be too friendly for me. And if I was messing with that stuff, there's no way I could do content that's not AFK and mess with settings right now, just in terms of real estate and attention on that small real estate. So I could understand it more for mobile, because you kind of stop what you're doing to mess with the settings anyways.
Yeah,
Whereas you can mess with settings and do content on desktop
Okay.
competently.
All right, so last weekend there was a 1v1 PvP tournament. Where it started out with 512 players. Did you guys have a chance to watch any of it? If so, what did you think about it? And what do you think about them doing tournaments like that moving forward in the future?
I don't have much to say about this really. Just wanted to say that I think it's nice that they're actually throwing PvP as a bone, and it goes to show that this was quite a simple thing that they could set up. I've not watched too much of it, but from what I gathered on Twitter, people seem to be enjoying it. And for such a simple thing for them to do, it would be nice if they could have something like this recurring, just so there is something for PvPers to do.
I agree with Arp there. Didn't watch too much of it when I got bombarded with "come watch so and so's Twitch live stream" in my PMs. Then I'd probably end up going watching it.
Dude,
But
they did send out quite a bit of things.
announcements, yeah. I found it interesting too that it was on, I guess, specific streamers' channels rather than like the old school RuneScape channels. So I guess it helped out with some streamers' careers, I guess, as well, which is nice. And then PvPers obviously getting some recognition and some things to look forward to, which was nice. I watched it. I liked it better than Dead Man mode, to be honest with you. And I think the only reason why is because I'm more of a fan of like 1v1s instead of just huge piles of clanman moding. So I don't know, I could appreciate the 1v1 skills rather than just a herd of people.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I watched a bit of it. Some of the fights were super entertaining, like toward the end. I think the final fight again, I don't know which one I saw. It was whatever his face is, 1000 the God or 1013 the God,
maybe.
whatever. He had a great fight at the end where he used redemption a few times to clutch it. So it was entertaining to watch. I'm not a big PvPer, but I've had my fair share of LMS to get my little rewards, and so I've started kind of seeing the appeal of it, of fighting a consenting player that wants to fight back, not murder.
Consent is
So
king.
So you mean actual PvP?
Yeah, actual PvP, not prey versus or predator versus prey. So I enjoy it, and I think I mean, obviously the RuneScape section in general on Twitch pops off during those. So I think it's a great investment on Jagex's part to do more of those. So yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I watched most of all 3 days. It's great entertainment to have off on the side while you're doing stuff in the game. Most of the commentating is pretty entertaining, so that's a nice added aspect to it.
Did you have a favorite caster?
Uh, I really liked Foe in his time zone. I found him being very comical, and I enjoyed that a lot. It added a nice aspect to it. But yeah, I hope they do a lot more like this. It shows, and I'm happy for the peers that got something like this than when they're are normally neglected and have been as of recent. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Hope they do more.
I thought it was really good, and for them to be able to get all these time zones and all these different people casting it as well. Wonder how much planning there was that went into it, because I felt like the time in which they announced it to the time in which the tournament actually occurred was something like a week or less than 2 weeks, I believe it was. So I think for the next one that they do, they should give it a little bit more time to like build up some hype, than what they did here. I think that would be a lot better. But yeah, Saban, you were talking about the good investment on their part. Hell yeah, it was a good investment. The winner only got like $1,000, which I don't really think, given. I mean,
Well,
they made money from this realistically.
100%, yeah.
So
I thought that was a whole separate question, but yeah, if
I deleted
fine,
it.
but okay, yeah, yeah. So didn't mean to cut you off, but 1,000 is fine, but not for like a once a year tourney, especially when it draws this much publicity. If it's gonna be something that is this beneficial, it needs to run multiple times a year for it to only be 1,000.
Yeah,
I know there's a little more in terms of, I know at least Sparkmac and Bodhi put up some money for it as well. I heard beforehand, and then obviously
That was
there were like
for Deadman, I believe.
other items like chairs and computer stuff. But yeah, it was relatively small in that aspect. Did you have more to say, Randy? Yeah, I cut you off.
No, not really. Shout out Mod Rogue for announcing it. The memes can die now.
Yeah, that was one thing I was thinking of. So yeah, I didn't actually watch it, although I did see like that redemption play for whatever that final fight was. That was pretty sick. But I did see some of the broadcasts, which honestly I kind of get annoyed by. I would have rather it just not been as soon, so there could be hype, and maybe I would just go watch it on my own and know that it would probably be good to hear some stuff beforehand. But if I just constantly get notifications, that makes me want to watch it less.
They had to have, how many alerts do you think they put out over that weekend? Was it close to 10 maybe?
I was gonna say 10 or 12, yeah.
But yeah, exactly what you said, Randy.
Hey man, shameless plug.
Shout outs to stuff from Rogue.
All right. So one of the things that they did in it was, long kind of thing here, but they said that they'll be conducting anti-cheating checks to ensure validity of results. Any player has been found to have cheated, they will be disqualified from the tournament. Their old school RuneScape account will be banned, and they will be disqualified from future tournaments. And affiliated accounts will be banned from competitive play indefinitely. You will not be given the chance to appeal this decision. They have not been that hard on punishment in the past when they've caught people cheating in tournaments. Like, for example, like Deadman tournaments, like there have been people that have won it and then been disqualified, and like the only negative is just you don't win your prize. But this is kind of a step above even that, and that, the Deadman tourney prizes were far more than the $1,000 that you get from the 1v1 stuff here. So how do you think that they should deal with the people that were cheating in the 1v1 tournament? I don't know how many of them were caught and disqualified. Maybe someone knows, let me know. But what do you guys think?
I think this was a good take to have. This, rather than saying it's too harsh in comparison to previous times. I think previous times were too lenient. It must be such a pain to have to deal with people who've cheated and dealing with reports that people have cheated. I mean, whenever there's real money being involved, I do think they should be, that strict about the rules and things like that. That it must be so irritating as well, especially late in the tournament, to face someone who you think might be cheating, and then if the only punishment they face is, oh, you're just disqualified from this tournament, some people would think, well, that doesn't really matter. I'll just hope I get away with it. So to have it this harsh, I feel like the people who would have cheated probably had a second thought about that, and hopefully it did stop some people, even if this was all talk and they weren't actually able to follow it up at all.
Yeah, I think it's quite beautiful. I absolutely love this, but I wonder though if instead of indefinite bans, I'm a big fan of like affiliated accounts and stuff too. But I wonder if instead it'd just be like a certain period, like a year or two, like just like when you get banned for normal game offenses. Like the whole point of not being permanent bans for every single offense is that okay, maybe you learn from your mistake, or I don't know. I feel like that's kind of relevant here.
Yeah, I think it's great that they are very strict with rules. I'd like the only downside to not being as strict is the downside to not being as strict is that people are just gonna be like, oh well, cheating will give me an advantage. But when the rules are, when the penalties are clearly stated, like you will be, like your account's gonna get banned and you will be disqualified from any other tournament. I think that's totally fair, especially as Arp said, with real money on the line. So, yeah.
I didn't see them specify if the ban was permanent or not, or like how long it would be. I don't know. I think that they'll probably use that precedent moving forward, and applying that for the dead man stuff that goes on, because. And I'm surprised that they haven't been like that on Dead Man stuff in the past, because you've seen like there like have been multiple like winners of the Dead Man finals that have been disqualified, and then it comes out 30 minutes after the final actually ends, and they're like, oh, the winner is actually the guy who lost in the finals. And I think that they'll probably start doing that with the stuff moving forward. Good on them.
I think it's partially down to, they said like they've actually gained tools for finding out about cheating. Is that they weren't able to see some methods of it before, or at least with nearly as much speed.
Yeah, I definitely think it's them setting a precedent going forward. That being so much time taken off since any sort of last turn, they wanted to come back with this one and be like, hey, going forward, this is what's up. If you play by it, or you can get off the game. And with real money, it should be like actual punishments instead of like it's been said, people just getting disqualified and you don't get it. There should be some sort of actual repercussion.
I think it sounds lovely, but
you know what's going.
I don't know if it's just because I've been playing this. I'm such an old boomer in this game, but like when Jagex makes these things like public and saying we're gonna do this, this, and that, and then I see guys with like 1 to 32 AHK scripts, like one ticking their gear switches all the time. I just have I have a very hard time believing that they're actually going to be punished if they even do get caught in the first place. So I don't know.
Would you say that, or I guess the thought is just, I'm just bringing it up. If they're able to see some of these cheating methods that maybe they couldn't before, you think they'll enforce it more in just the normal game instead of just tournaments now? Like they'll actually go after just regular PKers using those kinds of AHK where they went before and stuff like that?
I mean, I would hope so, because it kind of sets the precedent. Like if I can't get away with it in the game, then I'm for sure not going to get away with it in a tournament. But if they're using it in the game every single day to complete TOB or whatever,
yeah, it'd be a little underwhelming in terms of enforcement if it was only for tournaments.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it deters people from cheating. The whole, I think we have a question later on, but HK and stuff like that, like making that bannable, you will be punished for account sharing for ranks, blah blah blah. Like, it sounds good and it probably deters a lot of people away, but there's obviously going to be people that do it and get away with it. So I'm hoping it deterred people away from it in the PvP tournament, but I doubt it.
But it sounds like one person got banned before the finals, and then another person got banned after. Is what someone in the chat was saying.
I wonder if that means not many people were cheating, or their detection isn't as good as they're purporting.
I'm sure there's room for improvement. Dead Man mode is going to be returning May 1st, so some of the changes are going to be increased loot, no XP cap, raids 1 and 2 are not restricted, no rules against swapping or muling. That, big. The structure has changed significantly. They've decided to stop the prolonged qualifying period and dedicated finals week. They say that they've essentially combined them. The biggest benefit is that account progress from the qualifying stage is directly carried into the final. So are you excited for Dead Man's return as a viewer or possible participant? And what do you think of those changes?
I think overall, the changes sound quite nice. I don't know still if I'm going to play, but I have a tiny bit more reason than 0 beforehand. Now that like swapping and muling isn't, against the rule, that could potentially be a good alt / alt. But I don't know. I'm at least looking forward to watching some. Especially, I think there's going to be a lot more hype now that it's all in one thing instead of all separated. That was definitely something they could have done before, but now they're doing so it's good. Kind of have it quickened. It's just this localized thing instead of all spread out.
Yeah,
And also the qualifying thing was weird because you'd have tons of people qualify and then just not play in the finals. So it's like only half the people were actually playing. It was really bizarre.
I love that there's no cap and there's no rules against swapping. I don't play Dead Man mode, but when there's arbitrary restrictions that can't really be enforced, I mean, obviously the cap can be enforced, but like muling and swapping, I'm just glad that it's kind of like a free for all in sort of an aspect where it's just you do whatever you want to win, and I also like that all the progress is being carried through, so it's not some random month and then you get a week of just fully restarted, so you don't even put much time in besides just qualifying. So I think that's great. Shout out Rogue.
I feel like this almost not encourages as much, I guess is a better way of saying, unhealthy play. Like before, it was just a finals a week. People would know like
Which
the shit out of
sucked.
that 1 week. Yeah, that must have been horrible for the people playing it.
I've never really been that into Dead Man mode. I never played it as well, so I won't be playing it. I probably won't be watching it unless they lure me into the Twitch chat for the finals or whatever. Possible participant review changes. I mean, what did you guys play it? Anyone in here before? Like,
Yeah.
Technically, like we went over that last time.
Abra and I got someone submitted a question for Abra and I later in the podcast.
Like,
Oh,
what
really?
exactly was
I thought that was the last one.
what was the problem with swapping and muling? Like, has that always been
People have always done
bannable?
it. Yeah, but they haven't really been able to ever enforce it, is my understanding.
Okay.
Very
'Cause I
seldom.
was gonna say, like, I didn't see the problem. Like, I've heard of people swapping like every single time. Everyone just tries to make
Yeah.
as much money early on and then swapping it. So I didn't know if it was allowed beforehand or
I
now
like-
they're making it.
I kind of like the justification for them removing that. Well, first of all, they're kind of just seeing what works on this one. This one's kind of experimental. But also, they kind of brought up the point that, like, what's the difference between swapping and content creators getting stuff from their audiences?
Mm-hmm.
There isn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the only thing that I guess benefits me is, fingers crossed, the wilderness is less active and I'll go bust out some superior dragon bones in the wilderness.
I'll sell his world 10 mil an hour if you guys want to buy it.
Just give it to me so I can recoup my money.
Yeah. I think that these changes are pretty good. I haven't talked to any heavy dead man people who, obviously will have a much more intelligent opinion on the topic, but the things that they're talking about I think are pretty good. The no cap is good, and adding in that they're combining the like month-long qualifying period finals thing. That's fantastic, because the like week-long thing where you have everyone playing 100 hours, or like the people that are really trying to win are all playing well over 100 hours during that week. And I think that it's good for everyone's health that the two things have been combined there. Very good on that. And it'll also then kind of allow for just more people to play, I feel like, because I feel like you'd be able to make a lot more progress in that month as well compared to the 1 week, and get some people interested in playing it that may not otherwise be interested. So good on them with that. I think that these changes are very good.
Yeah, going into it, like I said before, I'm a big fan of watching content while I'm playing the game. I find it very entertaining. Them not forcing people to no life over a week and instead letting them have a full month long. And then the raids 1 and 2 not being restricted is cool too, because then you can come out in full max gear at the end of the month, which would be interesting to see how that turns out. I like that they're kind of just, for this first one, coming back, just saying like, hey, everything's on the table, go at it, best of luck, and seeing what works and what doesn't go.
Yeah, I'm sure that the dead man people probably I haven't talked to them again, but I feel like that'd be like the changes that they're implementing here would be something that they're probably liking.
I've heard also that there's going to be some streamers that mainly do PVM that are going to do Deadman mode because of raids 1 and 2, whereas they normally wouldn't because they're not a PKer,
Imagine you get like some like really good gear from that. How much that's gonna sell for to like
Snag that
swap that over.
Swap some Dragon Claws for like a bill.
Holy hell! Yeah, dude. There's gonna be a lot of that, and that's kind of like the thing. Like it's gonna open up the opportunity for a lot more people to play that otherwise may not have. So, it feels like everything that they're doing is a good business decision. So, all right, let's move on to Abra. I guess since we're just talking about Dead Man here, you and I will just take this question here, and it was, what was the clan's role in the Blazers Dead Man mode win? I'll let you go for it. What was your role when we did that?
My memory is a little faulty. Like, I could have swore this was either last podcast or maybe it was when I was looking through the questions for it, because it was supposed to be last week. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't remember right now what you were doing, but I know I was doing Black Shins with someone else, and we were having like 1 or 2 people protect us. And then yeah, obviously like they won, so we got a split of that money. So that was pretty cool. But it wasn't really that intense, at least for me.
Yeah, for me, my job was to get stamina potions for the whole crew. So I was just running roofs the whole time, picking up those marks, and that was like my role. And like Abra, were you doing it? You were doing it on 2 accounts. You had one that you were like actually skilling on, and one that you were like getting combat levels.
Man, I don't even. What year was that? That was a while ago.
That was like fall 2017.
Yeah, shit. It's been a while. I don't entirely remember what the situation was. I did have 2 accounts, though. I think pretty much the second one was just basically to mule the chins.
Yeah.
I think that was basically it, but maybe there was a little bit of combat on one of the accounts. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We were like in the like their team speak during it, and they had a lot of funny guys. Being around PKers for a week is certainly a different experience than being around skillers. So it was a good, it was a fun week. And yeah, one of our teammates, well, actually, like both of our teammates ended up getting into the finals. It was Jay and Manx, who was on the last podcast. And then, yeah, we got the split of the win. So that was fun.
Oh yeah, actually, thinking about that and also just the general PvP stuff, we should probably have more PK people on podcasts in terms of when Deadman starts back up.
Yep. Good having them on. I'll, see if we got some other boys that would be interested in being on. But all right, let's move on to Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter's has returned. Biggest change you'll notice is that on Bounty Hunter Worlds, the player, players, all players in the wilderness are skulled automatically, and they're not the ordinary skulls. They feature different designs that reflect the highest tier of emblem you and your opponents are carrying. There's other stuff going on with it as well, but what do you think about that change and the return of Bounty Hunter?
So as far as from like a actual player versus player standpoint, I think automatic sculling is cool. It makes a lot of sense for them. There is some danger to it, from my understanding. Like if you're just some PBMer hopping around and absolutely jump into the world, and then boom, you're in a hotspot, you're automatically sculled. That could be pretty shitty for you. But for a PvP standpoint, it makes sense for them. Them not being ordinary skulls is cool too. So you actually know like what kind of emblem, or if they have an emblem that the opponent you're fighting has. So can get an idea of possible loot and stuff like that.
Yeah, as a system, I really like the new stuff, and it's so nice like actually seeing people do it again, because they were when they removed it, and for that long while they didn't really have much to do. It's a little sad for them. Love the skull. I wonder if they'll remove that function from the emblem trader now, though. And it seems like the goal they set out to, well, one of the goals or at least the thing that they needed to do in order to bring it back, in terms of making it less prime for abuse, that seems to be doing pretty well, I guess, because of like the silent cooldown on the emblem upgrades. Although I have seen people who are actually like doing the content legitimately, and that's been quite annoying. Like, I don't know what the chance is to upgrade your emblem, but I've seen people do several kills and not get an upgrade, so that's probably pretty annoying. But yeah, at least they're requiring a minimum risk, yeah, which is nice. Like the 20k coins or an emblem, so that's something as well. Very good in general. They could probably do more to it, and I'm sure they will, and it'll make it even better.
Bounty Hunter 4, baby.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, I like it. I like that you're automatically skulled. I feel like there was always, at least when I never participated in BH, but I always had seen like issues with, oh, I'm not gonna skull, I'm risking a lot, and I'm gonna skull and you're not, or stuff like that kind of goes between people, and then eventually the target just has to skip their target because they refuse to skull. Whereas now everyone's skulled, so you bring appropriate gear for the.
This actually goes perfectly into the next question, which I'll wait on.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think this is pretty good. So I've said it before, and I'll continue to say, I think that like if I were, and I won't, but if I were to get into PvP, yeah, it would be like Bounty Hunter. I much prefer the concept of Bounty Hunter to the other kind of PvP stuff that they have, and all the stuff that they're doing for it. Again, I haven't done it, but it appears that it's an improvement on what they had, and that's the kind of stuff that I'd like to see. Good on them.
So like most others, I've not done this yet. I've not done any bounty hunter, and I most likely never will. But based on
Is
what
it
some
not
people,
part of TOTUS points to get that like hat?
yeah, there are completion aspects in this to unlock all the God Sword recolors, the gold recolors.
The bounty hunter
And also,
teleport.
yep, the bounty hunter teleport, but that's
I bought that
tradable.
for you guys.
And then there's the new hats as well for the number of kills that you get. Goes up to tier 6. I don't actually know off the top of my head how many kills that is. But again, PKing content's never really appealed to me, and I'm not one of those people who feels obligated to do content just because it fits what I do.
Because it exists.
Yeah, I'll probably, and if I do end up like completing everything else, and then that's the last thing that's there for me to do, I'll do it. But I think Bounty Hunter will probably be gone by the time I would ever get round to ever doing it. Based on what
I think it's gonna be gone.
yeah,
Oh, no.
it's not that much better than it was before, according to some PKs. Framed made a video and he started it by saying Bounty Hunter is back and objectively worse.
Oh no, I haven't seen it yet.
Another PK I've not heard of myself, but Mint Mad Cow apparently made a video on Bounty Hunter and he was pretty scathing of it in general. Apparently it's basically the same as it was before, but now bots can't boost it. So it's still being boosted by large clans who are making around 16 mil an hour selling tier 10 emblems.
Jeez.
There's a Reddit post that's got 500,000 upvotes just talking about showing clans all fighting each other in Deep Wildy to ensure that they get each other as targets. So sounds like people are still abusing it. And I can't see it lasting, to be honest. They've tried so many times to make it better, and
Hot take, I
it still
like it.
just gets abused.
Bounty Hunter
Interesting.
4, like I said.
All right, so kind of with Bounty Hunter, they added in here is the Vesta's longsword along with every other item on the recent blog. It is planned to be released even after it failed the poll overwhelmingly. And Jagex kind of had to say to that was that you might have noticed that the content aimed at PVMers, skillers, and questers frequently passes polls, but content aimed at the PvP community usually fails. As nice as it is to assume that all of our non-PvP content is 10 times as fun and brilliant, we suspect that there are other factors at play. For the players on the wrong end of a PKing spree, there's a huge incentive to oppose anything that might work to the PKer's advantage, whereas this simply is not the case when it comes to non-PvP content. So they're pretty much saying we're adding stuff. Too bad. Would be that's one way of kind of summing it up. The stuff that they're adding though, it is limited to just like bounty hunter worlds in the wilderness. So you have to be PvPing for this stuff, and it cannot be used outside of that. So like some of the things that they have in there, the Vesta's longsword and kind of all the other stuff they have on there. Do you have a problem with the PvP content additions? I guess failing the poll and then them saying, you know, we're overriding this and still adding it in.
Well, people love to hate PKers. People love to go in the wildy and then they hate getting attacked. But like, so I can see Jagex. I'm happy to see Jagex finally understanding that there may be some underlying motives to massive failures. So I don't love them implementing stuff that has in the past massively failed, but the fact that they are keeping it to just BH worlds, and if they in the future maybe BH and PvP worlds or something like that, I would be okay with. But I don't think it should be any PvP update that fails has failed in the past, or future updates just go into the main game without any discussion or anything.
Yeah, I was kind of nervous when they just made the Vesta's Longsword come out with no poll, but because it is exclusively on BH Worlds, I think it's fine. And I understand that, like, personally, if they were coming out with a Vesta's Longsword and they pulled it to be all throughout the wilderness, I'd vote no on that. Hell no. I'm not getting PK'd by a Vesta's Longsword with my prayer up. So I understand, like, them not pulling that, but only making exclusively for BH. It's a little wonky, I feel like, just because it can only be used at one part of the game. But I don't feel like it would have ever passed either way. I would have voted no personally, but I think it's fine. It's funny. The last question, Arptastic was just saying that these YouTubers that are coming out saying BH is even worse. I feel like anything that is generating gold through PvP just will always be abused heavily, and it will always advantage the PvP clans. So like Revs, when they came out, just anything besides killing another person for their own loot will just be abused. There is literally nothing you can do about it besides just getting rid of any gold incentive through NPCs and just making it so whatever you risk is what the reward is.
There's generally less barrier to doing that kind of content, so that's part of it, because obviously people can bot this, or maybe not bot this as much, but previous iterations, just like they can bot PVMers killing stuff. But anyways, so yeah, there's kind of two parts to this poll. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, my actual issue with this is just that they pulled it and then just said, fuck it, doing it anyways. Like, if they just didn't pull it at all and they were like, here, no one asked for this, but have it anyways, I'd be like, all right, whatever, fuck it, it's restricted, I'm not going to interact with it, and it's not going to impact me if I went into Wilderness, because I wouldn't be doing Bounty Hunter, because it's only Bounty Hunter, at least the Vestas. I don't remember if there's a restriction for the consumables, but at least
it is.
At least Vestas is restricted to only Bounty Hunter in the Wilderness, which I think is lovely, because you always have the potential to lose it. You know, you're always risking it in a sense, because, you know, in the Wilderness on BH World, you're always skulled, but, you know, oh, it could be your +1, you know, but you could get smited, so that's lovely. But yeah, Vesta itself, it's interesting that it failed pull before, and that was a weaker version. I'm pretty sure with the version that they pulled wasn't the special change to 50%. It's still 25% here, like it was originally in RS2.
Do you guys remember if when
it
it
is
was pulled?
Strong.
When it was pulled, was it for the main game or was it just BH? I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember.
Because I think that could have a major factor as to why it failed so much too, if it was for the entire game.
I kind of hope that once people actually use Vesta, they'll... Man, I don't know what to do about it. It's nice to have in the reward shop because it gives more incentive to actually do the content. But before it was added to that shop, I was saying that if they do add it, they should just put it in Rev Caves, because that's the whole reason why we have those emblems that you just trade in for cash, because they didn't have signature drops when Revs came out. And then they added stuff, but that stuff is not worth a ton anymore. So
because of the emblems, you understand that? It's like, that's the reason the weapons are so dirt cheap, is because they still shit out 16 mil emblems with the
yeah, because people are mostly doing it for the stuff that's not those signature drops, so that's, you know, they're just flooding in, and also I guess not enough people are using them. But yeah, I kind of hope they can just put Vestas there and get rid of the emblems. That'd be nice. But that's aside from BH.
It's really difficult to say with this, because I feel like that spite voting does exist. I think it's quite obvious whenever PvP is mentioned, people will vote no. Whenever a pure is mentioned, people will vote no. It's just it's what always happens, and it has happened for a really long time. So I understand that they're in a really difficult position with it, but at the same time, I don't think adding content in, regardless of whether it has been polled and failed previously, is the right way to go. I think one of the best ways that they've added content without specifically polling it before is, if you look at what they did with Fossil Island, is they polled Fossil Island as one big update. They didn't poll every single thing, and they didn't say, "Do you want herbivore? Do you want, all these specific little things?" They
So they
just
could
polled
take
it as one big
liberties.
thing. Yeah, they could say, "Do you want bounty hunter?" And for it to be able to give you unique rewards that benefit PvP within that world alone. Like if they just word it nicer, so that people don't immediately read it and think, "Well, no, that's going to kill me faster," so that's a no.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I've seen
It would
before where
increase the chance.
I've seen before where they pulled something. I think it was the like changing the it was the changing the camera with the middle mouse button. Back when that was initially pulled, it failed horribly. I think this might have been 2013 or 2014 where you could find the results somewhere in there.
I don't remember
that. It failed, and as you sit here using it, you've got to think to yourself, how could that have possibly failed? And it's because they worded it terribly. They re-pulled it like a month or a couple weeks later, and it like passed with a super high percentage. So like the way that questions are worded has a huge influence on if things do end up positive or negative with the votes.
Oh, yeah.
That's been an issue for them for a really long time, the wording of questions, and people have always pointed it out to them, and it doesn't seem to get any better.
Shout outs to you mentioning pure polling, like when they tried to remove the defense requirement on blessed dehides, because people didn't know that normal chaps and van races didn't have a defense requirement.
Yeah. There's no point for it to have a defense requirement, but nope, they can't
that
have
was
it.
One of the dumbest things to ever fail. I will forever blame people in their ignorance.
It makes everyone else look bad, because some people are like, "Oh yeah, we don't spike vote," and then something that simple fails. It's just so obvious.
Yeah.
It would be nice though if we could get a more proper, besides just taking liberties with content, a more proper system that would possibly allow for them to get content in a more legitimate seeming, way.
Yeah.
Like through polling.
And they need to stop, on a kind of a side note, they need to stop naming things the same as what they've named them. Don't name it Bounty Hunter. It's already got a bad press. Don't name it Vestas Longsword. People see it as overpowered. Like, is it that hard to come up with a new name for something?
Yes. We have just renamed, reskinned things from the previous game that I'm pretty sure people had aversions to in their original form. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, you guys kind of took every single thing that I was going to say already, unfortunately.
Sorry, Dan.
That's not a problem at all. That's basically my big the big problem with things, at least when in terms of polling. First off, I'm not going to be inclined to go vote on the poll if you're just going to totally disregard my vote and then bring it in later anyways. And then second, I'm probably not going to go vote on something if it's named the exact same thing as the reason why I'm playing old school and not like RS3.
It ruins the old school feel.
So those are my
guardian preserver of the old school feel now.
If you're gonna bring in a Vestas Longsword, like change it and make it like something different. That's all. Like just name it something different.
Real quick, I think I got a teammate that's gonna die at Volcanic Mine. I don't think he's gonna get out in time. I'll update you. I'll update you in 17 seconds.
Keep us posted.
Hesta's medium length sword.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you mean Volcanic Mine, Randy?
Oh shit. On the alt.
What do you mean? Volcanic Mine. What do you mean?
Oh, he made it by like a second. By the way, I think, unlike you guys, I actually support them doing stuff like that. Like the polling system has been broken for a very long time, and I think that them doing this, I respect it. It's a power move. And yeah, there you go. And I've felt for a long time that the polling system is so fucked. This should kind of be like a feedback form at this point, to where they can use it, because I said it before, like, it's their game. The polling system is just an illusion to try to tell us that we have power. We don't.
Yeah. They choose what goes on it.
Yeah, so, the stuff that they present to us at RuneFest, that is their plan for the game. That is what they want. Like, ain't our choice. Not, you got the whole my body, my choice. This ain't, my game, my choice.
Hang on.
It's,
That's a really good point. When they announce things as if it's already coming, but it's not even.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I hate that.
Once. That's happened at least once. I remember.
Oh, it's not just one. It's like every.
I think that was at least with the Rev Caves.
Over the last few years, like that is what like they don't. These are not sold to us as suggestions.
Guys, we put in all this work.
They're
sold. This content.
They're sold to us as the plan. So, yeah. How about we can see some more player developed content? Bring it.
Yes, we've mentioned that.
We pay, we AHK.
God bless. All right. They've added new account restrictions to stop free-to-play accounts from selling stuff in the GE, picking up other items, staking, and more. The restriction can be removed by logging over 20 hours of game time, earning 10 quest points, and reaching 100 total level. Or you can also buy a membership and bypass those requirements. Likely doesn't impact any of us, but what do you guys think about those restrictions that they've added free-to-play stuff?
Why do they do that and then just say, or you can just give me your money and you're okay? like what are they trying to stop from happening by putting? Okay, but then why not just literally pay? I don't know how much a bond is in real life, but $3 million in game, $4 million in game, or what is it, $5-8 in real life for 2 weeks? Like
something like that.
Don't think it's really going to deter anyone. It was more so it's not the end of the world. It didn't affect me so much. My girlfriend with quarantine has now started to play Rooney.
Big.
And I walk my ass all the way to the Grand Exchange to buy something, and then it says, sorry, you need to log 18 more hours. So then I had to spend my own hard-earned money on a nice iron set for her, which is just preposterous.
So you're the breadwinner in the
in this digital relationship.
Using me for
in
my
this
money.
IRL digital.
So I mean, I don't think it's really going to deter many people. In all honesty, I don't know. It seems as though it would be more annoying for new people to not fully be able to access the game like right away.
Yeah, I think that this is a huge negative. I've seen Weth say in the past that the stuff that so when they were talking about like adding in like the requirements to like wield an anti-dragon shield and like just all that anti-cheat stuff. Weth kind of said that it's not going to stop them or anything like that. It will just slow down the process that it takes for them to start doing the cheating that they're doing. And I feel like that's, especially with given the free-to-play stuff, that's more negative on the real players. If I'm a new player, like obviously I know that their target audience is people that have played it before and they're trying to get them to come back to it. Even if it's that kind of player or someone that's brand new to RuneScape, putting that kind of restriction on a new player, that's going to be the easiest way to lose them.
Okay, to go against what's already been said, I think it's good, and if I recall correctly, it's actually Weth who's the one who pushed this through. I feel like there's no reason.
Perhaps he's developed a new system to where he can better detect people. Sorry to cut in. Go ahead.
Maybe. I just feel like if you're a new player, you're not really going to see a need to be trading or using the Grand Exchange until you've reached those requirements at least. I don't see it as a negative, really. If it's going to help them to combat bots, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. It is annoying. I remember, I think it was just a couple years ago, I made a little free-to-play account with one of my roommates, just to PK, and we couldn't buy anything, so we just quit. We literally gave up like 5 minutes in after leaving Tutorial Island.
See, there it is.
But again, if it's I don't know. I think not having bots get their way is a little bit more important. But then again, it's not like I was too. It was more to just entertain my roommate, but I didn't really give a shit. I wanted to go play on my iron.
Yeah, I think the intentions are good here, but unless the detection system has been updated or something, it really just seems prolonging the inevitable. I mean, even if they don't just give Jagex their money, how long is it realistic? It takes 20 hours max to just bot and sit and chop trees or something, and then by that time they can unload all of their stuff. So.
Oh, actually, so I didn't even realize I'm hopping worlds on an alts. They indeed do have a warning for hopping to a bounty hunter world. Worlds so and so is a bounty hunter worlds where the wilderness is more dangerous than on other worlds. So that's you'll always be skulled type thing. All right, cool. Anyways, yeah, I'm very much with Randy here. This is just gonna deter new players. Again, yeah, their intentions might be good, and I certainly see at least one kind of bot that will be basically eliminated, which were designed to be disposable, not very good at all, but it's better than nothing. Stuff like buying and then selling like feather packs or like filling vials or buckets at the fountains, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't really like this change. I don't have a ton to say on it though.
Okay.
And also, yeah, I don't know how effective it'll be anyways. Like, you can bot the questing and the total levels very quickly. So you can literally just make an account and just keep it logged in for all that playtime. And it'll be like, it's not even a thing.
Yeah. And so the RuneScape merch store updated with a new range of phone covers with skill capes. So let me give the link here. Do you guys like any of the stuff that they have added in here? Would you ever consider buying one? What are your thoughts just on the merch store?
I don't. I'm looking at it now. But I was just thinking, I don't remember really saying anything that's too nifty. I don't remember exactly what the new stuff is. Like, obviously, there's the skill cape phone case. I don't remember what all other stuff might be new. I really don't care for the phone case at all. The only things that are somewhat tempting are like the fancy socks and another shirt that I already have. Actually, I don't think they have the RuneScape logo shirt before, so I guess that's something. But I have like a shirt. There was some community artists. I think it was Atlas was the name, either of the person or the piece was called Atlas. It was like a little chibi thing holding up like the world or whatever. What is RuneScape stuff? But no, nothing really new is tempting at all.
I think some of the stuff in here is quite cute. The phone cases are quite cute. I wouldn't buy any of this stuff. I don't think I'm not, but that's just because
you're not brave enough.
No, it's because I'm not really like a merch guy. Like I'm really into some bands, but I still wouldn't buy band merch. Not
okay, that's fair.
Just because I'm not really just into that. I wear very plain things. My phone
Oh
case.
wow! Holy shit! They have a Razer Phone 2 case. Sorry, go ahead.
What? In the RuneScape store?
Yeah, like for the Slayer cape, they have a Razer Phone 2 soft case of a Slayer cape. Good on them.
Oh, what in the different sizes? I didn't see that.
Yeah,
This changes everything.
I didn't see the mugs before. That's a nice mug.
I mean, the good thing about this is that they're not just tacky things that they're creating out of like cheap plastic just for the sake of selling it. If you read the description, they're actually trying to make it a usable product as well. So yes, it's cute, but it's also good.
Functional.
I suppose it should be for £13.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. It's okay. And I know a bunch of people are really into the key rings. I've got someone in my clan who buys every single key ring.
Really?
So yeah.
The keyring completionist on top of RuneScape completionist.
Yeah.
I had someone DM me asking if I bought the limited edition golden DFS keychain because I guess maybe there's some sort of market for that because they only made 100.
An aftermarket.
Yeah,
Jeez.
golden DFS chain.
Jeez. God bless them.
The answer is no, so don't slide in my DMs about that, silly boys.
Yeah, so scrolling through, I'm a big fan of Bob's Brilliant Axe hoodie, but I'm not.
That thing's fucking expensive.
I'm not. I was just gonna say
Wait,
I'm
where
not
is-
spending
oh, that one.
$65 on it. What is
Plus
that?
shipping. You're probably gonna like
Like
80
$100. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 85 Canadian on my end.
I'll say something that looks nice is the varsity jacket if they just got rid of the Iron Man helm
Yeah,
and maybe
yeah, with
made
that.
it a little more subtle. Like just keep the logo on the front. I would maybe get that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
the Iron Man helmet is so big on that.
Yeah, it's huge.
By the way.
Deserved.
Very cute.
They gotta let everyone know.
You know, Sebe, would you get that varsity jacket?
I'm actually not looking at it, but I think I can imagine it. Yeah, I get it.
And,
It doesn't look bad. It really doesn't. That's that's way better than the hoodie that's, you know, $12 more. I don't really get their pricing on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
My girlfriend actually bought me the tea mug for Christmas, so I drink my coffee out of that every morning.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
But
What
yeah,
kind of tea?
that's the only thing I own, and like I said, the Bob's thing is cool, but I'm not spending $65 on it.
What kind of tea you drinking, Fry?
Oh, I'm drinking coffee out of it. I'm not a real boy.
Oh.
Oh.
Not a real
All
tea
right.
drinker. Oh, I said boy.
Oh.
All right. I wouldn't get anything from here. I think that with how big of a company they are and with how much potential there is with this, that it's incredibly underwhelming what their merch store is like. I do appreciate though the like adding in the skills. So the cases that you can get, it's like pretty much any iPhone 6 through iPhone 11, just any of those cases. Then you got like a bunch of Samsung phones, like, and then I don't even know what this is. Huawei P20. Hawaii.
Yeah, Huawei is a little bit big. I don't know how
Hmm.
big, but I know some people have.
It's a P20, and then just at the bottom, the Razer phone 2. God bless them. Best phone out there, by the way.
Mhm.
Now they
Where's
need
the
to.
appeal for cosplayers? Where's the real life fire cape?
Yeah,
True.
like
Now you're
dude,
talking. Yeah.
if they added one of those and charged like $200, people would buy that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
You done, Randy? Oh.
there's just so much that they could do that they're not taking advantage of. A lot of people out there doing like 3D printing and selling, you know, like figures and shit like that. And
Yeah, I've seen that.
huge,
I remember
huge market for that.
they
Like
did some sort of thing like that for a charity event once. I don't remember which it was, but there was like the Chinchompas and like the mod signed it and stuff.
Chinchompa plushie, come on.
Oh yeah, dude, if there was a plushie,
oh fuck,
I'm waiting
that
on
would
a bird plushie right now.
I'm
that-
scooping that up.
a Chinchompa plushie would fucking kill in
yeah.
sales.
Just make sure to ask for your cut.
Yeah.
All right, my review of the merch area. I think some of the items are just like you guys have already mentioned it a lot. What I was gonna say, like usual, but some of the items are just kind of. I don't know anyone who wears a pin, anyways, besides like Poppy for Remembrance Day. But like connection lost pin badge, throw that in the garbage. 55 Canadian dollars for a vinyl record of the old school soundtracks. Like, who is listening to vinyl records in 2020?
Hey,
that's
hey,
playing
sea
RuneScape?
shanty, if Sea Shanty 2's on there,
You're gonna go buy a $200 record just for Sea Shanty 2? I'll put that on YouTube.
let's see, where is oh, it shows the track list. Sea Shanty 2 is on disc 1 side B.
If
by
it
the
doesn't
way.
have all like 600 old school tracks,
Oh,
I
it
don't know how
doesn't.
work it out.
There's 24 songs on here.
Disgusting.
It's probably more of like a collectible thing. I expect they want people to hang it up on a wall or something rather than
Yeah.
actually.
Now, I'm looking forward to a DJ popping that out, putting that during a set.
Playing all-time hits.
Oh, yeah.
I just think they're like the Iron Man jacket. That actually looks kind of jokes. I feel like they should just go full on, like sell an Iron Man helmet on there.
That's an idea.
And people would buy it.
That's $1,000 idea there.
The thing on the back is literally the size of my head, so you might as well just like put it on your head at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Some of them, I mean, I personally wouldn't buy any of them if I were to buy something. That cup of tea is actually kind of jokes, where it says "drink cup of tea," like the examine option on the mug itself.
I'll put a picture in
And then you
Discord
like
later.
and then you like the backside. Nothing
Yeah.
like a nice cup of tea.
That's
like that
actually
one.
that's jokes. I think some of the things would be good, like in your own home, like the desk mat or the cups. Not too sure if I want to wear like Catherby across my chest on a t-shirt.
Kath would be on my chest.
Oh
Yeah.
damn! I didn't know that map is actually like that has Zay on it. I thought that was a RS3. Like I just assumed it was RS3.
It does have some RC. Like it has Soul Wars, it has the Lost Grove. It doesn't have the new area. Well, from another new area. This is a somewhat old map. But yes, it has there.
Okay.
Oh, it has
Interesting.
Ashdale.
Oh, what the fuck? You see, hold on. I'm gonna post this screenshot here in the Twitch chat. I'm looking at the like the images that they have for this, and they are showing off the like the map desk mat. And one of the images that they have on here is some fucker playing not RuneScape on the computer. Like, this seems like an F- in marketing here.
I mean, that's
Like,
RS3.
Is that? No way! Looks like he's shooting a gun.
Looks like
It's a crossbow.
third-person shooter. Yeah.
What?
It looks like it's in God Wars 2.
Disgusting.
You can see the bones in the bottom right of the screen there.
Yeah.
Looks like a Fortnite kind of a little bit.
It really does not look
Yo,
like
shout outs to that Travis Scott concert though.
Then how could you like ugh. Item ruined.
Give me the loot.
All right, let's move on to some submitted topics that we had. And one of the ones that we had was with the current state of the game in terms of shift drop, shift empty pouches, menu entry swapper. Do you think Jagex would ever officially lift the ban on AHK? And do you think they should?
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm first because I'm sure everyone is going to disagree with me, but I do not think AHK should come back. I think that people who still use AHK now are babies and haven't given mouse keys a real chance. When AHK got banned, I was very into AHK when it was allowed. And when it got banned, I stopped using it immediately and went over to mouse keys. It takes about 15 minutes to set up properly. And then once you've done that,
That's for an intelligent person like yourself, though. You gotta realize the average IQ of a RuneScape player is at least
it does require a lot of setup, and I can understand why people don't want to do it because AHK is so much more user friendly. But if they've said AHK isn't allowed, I don't see an excuse why anyone should be using it just because they think it should be allowed. Mouse keys does everything you could expect AHK to do within old school RuneScape. There's no reason for it to come back.
I don't think it would come back. Now, like my own personal thoughts, like I like AHK just in terms of like the customizability of the multiple drop down distances. That's like pretty much the main reason why I used it. And yes, I used it after the ban. But I feel like now with all this stuff, they would just say, see, you don't need it. We can do everything without it. We're not bringing it back. That's kind of how I see it going down.
Hey, Arp in the chat there, D says mouse keys were too hard to set up. Took him 2 hours to set it up, and all he got was a permanently ruined keypad. Never got it working again.
Aubrey's got a pretty good guide out for mouse keys. It doesn't cover absolutely everything.
I mean, it works for Windows 7. Windows 10, it was really funky to set up because on 7 you can just tap a key and it just does it one time. But if you on Windows 10, it gets called very quickly, so you can't just do a one. It scrolls way, it scrolls way the heck. You have to turn on key weight or not key weight or whatever. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, I know what you're referring to.
Yeah.
That's a glitch, though. It doesn't happen all the time. I've got it working in Windows 10 now.
Oh, maybe that is the case, but at least the thing that I'm thinking of, it did work as a solution to that problem. And then also the thing that's really silly that I don't like, well, I mean, whatever. I had to get sharp keys to have it how I wanted it with remapping.
If you've got like a keyboard that comes with its own software, you can use that to remap
I don't
instead.
I have like a $15 keyboard.
Fair enough. Bring out jagex keys. When are jagex keys coming?
What kind of keyboard is it that you have?
Insignia. It's like a hard cap membrane.
Okay.
Yeah,
But no, I remember we talked about that before any of the shift drop, all that stuff. We talked about jagex keys, like just customizable stuff in game, but that obviously never came. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I mean, obviously, jagex keys would be ideal, but with all the stuff they've put into the game to try and I don't want to say combat what AHK did, but use or get close to what AHK did for people, I don't see them ever putting it in. I did use it after the ban. It took me a while to switch over to mouse keys, but we're here now, so yeah.
I've only ever used AHK, I guess, 1-to-1. So seeing these things that they're allowing, I guess, on RuneLite, it's more overpowered than I.
Oh no, it's not even all through RuneLite. Most of it's just normal in game.
Oh, I wouldn't know that because RuneLite is normal game for me. So
True.
So yeah, I mean, now it feels like it's just becoming easier and easier. I think this is, I guess, yeah, like JFry was saying, it's their way of combating AHK. So I don't think you really need to take the ban off of AHK because, quite frankly, I mean, the ban from AHK, there wasn't really anything that changed. I mean, the people that were AHKing, majority of them anyways, still AHK and get away with it daily. So
Dan, was that your dog?
No, that's mine.
Okay.
Took him to obedience training evaluation a couple days ago, actually.
Mm-hmm. What's the verdict, good boy?
Verdict is he needs about 8 weeks of training. Yeah.
I'm a manual gamer. I don't use mouse keys or AHK. I've just done everything with my mouse. And with the like recent updates they have with RuneLite and with just kind of like the new bank interface where you can do everything in your bank basically without leaving. I actually think it's a great update. I know a lot of people just like the old school feel of everything, but I think it's actually great. It kind of streamlines a few different aspects, but I've always been more into like improving my clicks rather than just letting a program just do everything for me. And I understand I'm not going for 200 mil anything where it's literally would break your wrist, but I really enjoy just the manual game, and I love the direction they're taking it where they're actually simplifying things without it. It looks OP, but it's not any more OP than AHK would be normally, but that we've had for years. And it kind of gives manual gamers a level playing field, I'd say. So I like it. And I don't think they'll ever lift the ban. If that was the question.
Yeah, I don't think they ever will. I also don't think that they ever should, because the way, like, if they were to to officially announce that. Like, I'd imagine that people would start going wild with it, and with at least with how it is now, it's in a place where they've kind of made their point pretty clear that. Because, like, mainly the reason why they've did that change is because they were sick and tired of people getting banned for using AHK and then unbanning them for that. So, pretty much set up to where if you get banned for it, they have that as their excuses. So that's why you're not banned. I think it's fine remaining as is.
I think people would abuse it even more now that, like, they've said, oh, we were taking it away because people were abusing it. And so people would just look into it and it's like, oh, I can abuse it like that? But you say it's allowed, but you're trusting me?
Yeah, surely there'd be a lot more stuff that would come
Yeah.
up now.
It was very localized before. People that knew how to use it in either way were using it, but it wasn't super, super widely known. But now that you say that it can be abused, it will.
All right. One of the other submitted topics that we had was, do you think they should update rune crafting to have all the altars have no delay in between crafting runes, similarly to how lavas are?
So admittedly, I have not done a lot of craft. I got my 99 and I'm hanging out at 13.8. But this was something that's always confused me as to why that altar didn't have a delay, but every other one did. I felt like it should either. I feel like it should be either one way or the other. Probably leaning towards a delay on all of them. But yeah.
So the thing is, it's not specifically the ultra that has the delay for lavas. It's
Combination
all of them.
runes?
Yeah, it's combination runes have no added delay. And although, funnily enough, the global delay for rune is 5 ticks, but on the Orania altar, it's 4 ticks. So that's weird. But yes, I'm a huge fan of this. This would make... It wouldn't quite make RC great, but it would make it better. So, yes.
This is me. Yes, it is me. I don't see a problem. I mean, for 200 mil guys that are doing lavas, it still would be. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lavas would
It
still
wouldn't do
be,
anything.
way better, anyways. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. So sure, why not?
I think it's an amazing update.
Hell yeah, brother.
Like, not only is like lava rune crafting the most satisfying thing when you get the 1 tick into the 1 tick telly right after, like the craft telly within 2 ticks. But me being a Iron Man having to
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you
Imagine-
Had to
hold
put
on,
that in
Darren? Did
there.
you say it?
I was waiting for him. I was just waiting.
Say it.
by the way, Iron Man, by the way.
Oh shit!
No, I like the occasional abyss rune crafting for my 6k death runes an hour. It's kind of nice. Feeds the old trident.
Yeah, that makes me think of Palpatine. Do it.
Say
Yeah.
it.
No, but honestly, I think that would make abyss rune crafting, just honestly any form of rune crafting. I don't do ZMI or anything, but just the fact that not only do you get to 1 tick the pouches, but you get to do it 3 times in a row, because lavas, I believe you just do it twice, but with abyss, I think it's 3 crafts. So if you could do it all within a tick, so it would be like craft, peace out within 3 ticks, that would be glorious.
And, faster XP and runes, of course.
Yep.
Not just because it feels nice.
But it would feel nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Do it.
Why not?
Fuck
Wobba Fett.
Yeah. All right. One of the next submitted questions was, any plans on putting out new admissions for general? And the answer to that is to be discussed at future gen meeting. then kind of for everyone here is what has everyone been up to during the podcast, and what is everyone's goals?
Oh, I've been crafting all of my gems. I've gotten a lot of gems in the past couple weeks, so that's what I've been doing during the podcast. I will be going back to Lava Dragons and Seracnus for the next probably 3 to 4 weeks, trying to be the first Iron Man to 1,000 elites, and in that time, do a bunch of hard clues and do a bunch of master clues, and then from there I already have a plan of what I'm going to do, but I'm not disclosing it yet. Just to finalize exactly what I'm thinking of. But that's my current goal, to be the first Iron Man to 1,000 elites, and then I can kind of diverge from there. Yeah.
I'm doing my old reliable Rune 2H Smithing and Rune Dragons. I actually during this podcast passed 195 mil Smithing, so wrapping that up this week.
Nice.
Went on to some fat thieving gains.
Some what?
Fat thieving gains.
Nice.
Good old gem boys.
You got a foot pedal?
Oh, we're ready to go. Yep.
Cool.
You got an actual foot pedal or just a cheap keyboard?
Not a cheap keyboard, yeah.
Aw,
I don't know who I'm getting.
You could get like a serviceable foot pedal for probably like $20, and I'd imagine it'd be far more comfortable and consistent.
Think Amazon considers that essential?
Yeah, probably.
Ooh.
I ordered a phone case. I cracked my screen protector, not my actual screen, and I had to order a new protector. It said it wasn't gonna be here until May 8th. Got here within 4 fucking days.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like $6 for like a 3-pack. It was here.
I'll take a peek at that then. Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon's still on their game, man. They ain't playing. But I've been doing volcanic mine. Done about 15 mil XP here. Love the method. Looking forward to continuing to do it. We'll be getting 30 mil XP tomorrow.
Congrats.
I've been doing
Baby steps.
Slayer on a Calphite task right now. Goals: 100 mil rune crafting, and I don't know if I should keep it at 100 mil or just say 200 mil, but we'll go 200 mil Slayer and 100 mil RC are the main ones at the moment for the near future.
Hit up Danny if you're looking to run us.
Lab
Alright.
experienced only.
I'm looking to hire a runner soon. I don't care if you're a beginner. I'll pay you cheap if you are.
Nice.
You'll be compensated fairly for your skill.
Right, so pretty much for the past month I've just been at Redwoods. I'm at like an 11 mil month so far, like a 4.5 week just passed. Gaming hard, playing the new Ori game.
That's like 60 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
fucking game.
So, I've been playing the new Ori game, but obviously during this podcast, I'm not going to be doing that, so I broke the alts back out, which they ran out of membership. I had to rebond them, because I hadn't played them for like a month, at least. So, but yeah, so just Redwood and alts for right now. But plans, I'm just kind of taking it as it comes. I'm not like rushing anything anymore, or just in general. I'm trying to be a happy gamer.
Admittedly, a bit burnt at the moment, not logged in right now, but when I am logged in, I'm at the good old Motherlode mine. Would be doing redwoods, but finished wood cutting, so because I've already done too many redwoods. I do have quite a few goals at the moment. It's just a case of actually doing them. I need to save up to get 99 construction, which I still haven't done. I've been planning to do that for a couple years. I'm saving up for 200 mil strength because I need to buy energy potions to do that on my limited build, by the way. And I also want to get the herb sack from Tithe Farm so that I can do herbivore.
Yeah, it's way faster from Tithe than it was from Slayer. It takes like less than 3 hours to get now.
I can't do Slayer on my account, so I've been waiting for it to come out through Tithe Farm.
That's perfect. And also, man, you wouldn't have to be at Motherloads if there was incentive, like a diary.
Stop. No.
All right. So, real quick before we go, then, everyone, give a shout out to a random RuneScape friend and then your social media afterwards.
I want to start off by giving a shout out to my good friend, Mr. Whiteside. He's a real cutie. He's over at Wintertodd, trying to get that Phoenix right now. He's coming up on 5k KC, and he's at 123 mil XP right now.
Damn. And your social media.
Oh yeah, and at JFryOSRS on Twitter.
All right. Shout out Vegeta, welcome back. And Twitter, Randalicious RS. You know, I actually talked to the guy who owns the Twitter handle Randalicious a couple weeks ago. This motherfucker, like, I asked him if I could buy it because, like, he only uses his Twitter to beg for stuff on the Cash App giveaways. And I asked,
your name to shame.
well, I asked him if he'd sell it to me, and I offered him $50, and he said no. And then he said that he had been offered like $200 to $300 in the past for it, and he turned that down. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah,
He
if,
ain't-
who
If
else
he's- wants
if he's the type of
Randalicious?
person to be begging for money, he would have taken that.
Dude,
That's sus.
And he hasn't, and like that's the
He's trying to
only
get
thing
you
that
to do more.
that's the
That's it.
only thing that he's used it for in the last, fucking, like, he went years without tweeting, and then now he starts back up, a couple months ago, and now, like, here we go. Look, he didn't have any tweets between February 13th of 2016 and then just March 21st, 5 weeks ago. This motherfucker went 49 months without tweeting, and he doesn't want to. Man, let me buy you and your girl a nice dinner and give me the Twitter handle. But he said that he's gotten offers for hundreds of dollars.
Definitely has not. He's just trying to get you to raise your offer.
Yeah,
Someone needs to pull a Zoidberg on it.
well,
gotta
if you
Just do it
got
like
if
you
you
got
got
the
the
Hexis
if you got the people, hit me up.
Just like Hexis operation.
All right, go ahead,
Mr.
Art.
Art.
I'll shout out James C from Totus because he's helped me a lot. Solid dude. And my Twitter handle is @Arptastic.
Big shout out to Enjoys on a 121 EHP week and a
Gaming.
440 EHP month. Absolutely massive. And shout out to all GVG members and fans as well for fantasy. Social media @Hexis on Twitter and on Twitch, Dan_Gleesac.
Shout out GE Challenge. That man came into my stream earlier today and taught me how a scythe works. Like, that shit's so confusing. When you start attacking a monster above a 2x2, you don't know what you're swiping at when there's something like underneath the boss. And he taught me exactly what is happening with the scythe. So yeah, that was a big like brain explosion moment today. So big shout out for just being a genius and just all of his cool methods. And yeah, my social media is @SaterRS on Twitter and @SayBebe on Twitch.
Well, shout out to Safi Cawthon. Talk with that lad a lot. He's always there. He's a very nice lad. Shout outs, mental health, good stuff.
I
And-
send my volcanic mine reports to him. God bless.
And also, I guess, shout out Sinferno. Funny some funny content and also been talking to her a little bit. And then socials, Abra238_RS. I still hate that it's appended. I wish I could get the old handle back. Again, some Indian dude got it and it got banned. Whatever. And then Twitch is just Abra238. Less.
When you say back, did you have it then before?
I had it on an original account. I don't even remember what happened to it. I really don't remember what happened to it. But I think I did have it originally. Because, like, my current Twitter account, I don't think is the original one that I had. I don't think.
Then some fucking Indian guy took it.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunate. So next Hexis podcast, look to have that. So 2 weeks from now is Mother's Day. I don't know if it's Mother's Day in the world or just Mother's Day in America. But we have one. Maybe look for it. It's either gonna be like May 9th or like May 16th. Definitely not May 10th. But follow us on Twitter at Hexis for updates on what's going on with that. And that will do it for the 78th Hexis podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Make gains.
GVG.
Hydrate.